This time I'm back with a note-taking application. So this application can be used by users to take notes. Let's say you want to take notes, maybe you're learning or something, you can just take notes, or where you have to remind yourself that you have to do something. So this is what the application is going to be doing. So I'm going to walk you through my code and how I managed to come up with this application. So first, I'm using a block provider. So this block provider will help me like to make sure that I have a good structure of my code. So I'm going to be using Firebase console, and I'm going to be using Firebase for authentication and storing my files using Firebase Firestore, the database. So the first thing that I did is to have some authentication files that uses the block provider. So the first thing that I did here is to have this events, this old event dot that. So this is basically like a model, or the one that is defining how our collections are going to look like. So let me just go to the event and just summarize. So what basically is needed for someone to log in is the email and the password. Then they can just log in, or they can just sign up with the email and the password. And then the state, it just shows that is the user, if a user is managed to log into the application successfully, or there's an error. So this block is one that checks all those things. Then the block provider, the auth block file, this one will be able now to utilize those files to define, like to make sure that the user can sign in with the emails, and if there's an error, it can show them an error. Then we move on to the notes, So this application basically, as I said, is going to be an application that can be used by users to take notes, right? So I defined my blocks here. So let me just start by the notes event. As I said, this is going to be like how what is needed to be stored into our database, which is basically the text, the notes that someone wants, and the ID of that note that is created. So this one also checks that someone can update those notes, delete those notes, and add those notes. Then the state of the notes is basically like just checking the state of that note. Then the notes block now will be the one now utilizing those things, so that a user can do CRUD operations where they can load, add, update, and create nodes, which is basically done here and stored into Firebase. So this is basically the whole function application that what it's doing. So let's say a user is trying to add a node. So if someone successfully create a node, it will load that, it will create that node. But if there's an error, it will call these errors. You can update your node here, or you can delete. So basically, this is what it's doing. Then I also have the screens. Uh, So this is basically the home screen of the application. So this home screen is going to be showing the interface of the notes, like what users need to do when they're adding notes. So what users can hear, they can add notes, enter their notes. So let me just jump into the main layout of the application, which starts here. So this is basically like the subheading of the application. We'll see when we log into our application. So just making sure that if my application is still running, yeah, it's still running. So uh, this is the upper bar of the application. So this is the whole thing that is basically done here. So when you first sign into the application, you basically don't have any note you have. So to show you this message, I send something like nothing here, add a note by pressing the button plus. Then a user can also be able to delete that those notes, and it's basically shown in here. You can edit here, or you can delete here. These are the buttons. So you can either delete, it will, if you press that edit button, it will make sure that it calls this ID and make sure that the text that was available is shown, then you can edit it. But if you delete it, it will just call the ID of that node and delete it. Then we'll move on to the login page. So this is the login page. So let me go to the login page of the application. Right, this is the login page. So I designed this. You can be wondering what inspired me to have this design of my login page and sign up. This is basically something that I just felt was something about my mission. So I already had this logo. So I just said, let me just use this logo to develop my application. Right. So this is basically like the main layout of the application. It's using some controllers to make sure that the users can sign up into the application. It is this basically like, and it's also validating this the regular expression to make sure that the users put a correct email which follows that. And uh, this is basically like it, and this is the sign up button of the application. So you can press it. If you don't have an account, then it will come in. Then yeah, this is the sign up page, the design of the page. Then move on to the services. So the service, what it does is just like, making sure that everything that is on the application, like, you can fetch notes, you can add notes, all those things. This is like, where the user can create a collection. You can this will trigger creating a collection into your Firebase. So, it will create this whole thing into your Firebase. Then this is my main chat. So to make sure that I'm using my Firestore, uh, Firebase is just code here when you initialize it. This is required to make sure that you're running your Firestore, your Firebase. There's something that I wanted to show you, which is using the Fires to make sure that the Firestore, that line is actually important. Make sure that you give your Oh, I can see that line. Okay, I'll come back to it. So let me first you have to sign up. So right now we need to sign up into application. So right now I can type my email. So let me just type my email. Um, Give you some time to load. It's loading. Right? Yeah, it's loading. So Manga mm, at Gmail. So here you can put your own email address. So here I'm just putting mine. Then password. I can do this. So, you can choose your own password that you feel like you can. So these are like if you want to make sure that you can see your password, you can click on these things. So you can see it's now visualized. So I click on it, it hides the password. So let me confirm my password. And after confirming now, I can sign up. So let's just wait for it to load. Just wait for it to load. Let me wait for it to load. So as it is loading, I'm sure it's creating that username and the password into Firebase. So let's let's jump into Firebase to make sure that we have our authentication running. So yeah, here users. You see now there are no users yet, but let me just refresh. I'm sure we'll see our users here if I refresh my page in Firebase. I'm sure it's syncing our user to that application. Yeah, here we go. You see this user is just created right now for July. Where's the time? It's not just showing me the time, but previously didn't have this user. So which means it's working. So let's go back to our application now. Yeah, so it was still loading. So let's give it time so that it logs into the application. Let's give it some time. It's running some processes in the background. Yeah, here we go. So these are some of the notes that I added, like you see, those notes I added, I was trying to do something, but I've logged into a new user, so there's nothing new on this application. But now let's try to add some notes. So I press this eight, let's just say note, pressing, let me pressing. So note taking, note application. Just delete that one. So I can save my note here. I'll just save it, save it. So I want to create two nodes here. Then we go to Firestore in Firebase. Then we visualize if it managed to create our nodes. So here it is. Let me create another one. What can I name this one? Um, we are using uh, Fire. So authentication. 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 Let me save it. Right. So we see what we have created here. Let me go to Firestore. So I'll just click here on my Firestore. And let me just give it some time to add, to load. Oh, so these are some of the things that I already did. You see, this is yesterday. So I think this one is the one that I did it now. Wait, where is it? For July 1813. Yeah, exactly. We are using 525 authentication here, right? So if I come in, let me just look for the one that I just created. I created two notes. Yeah, this one, note application. So you see, this created our notes. Then let's go back to our code. Where is it here? So I'm going to delete this one. We are using Firestore and authentication. I've deleted it. It's disappeared. Then let's go back to our Firestore. Then where is it? Yeah, you see something disappeared. Let me refresh it. You see something will disappear. Yeah, here we go. So we deleted that thing that says we are using Firestore and authentication. So I'm going to look for that thing. These are for yesterday. So if we don't find it, which means it has managed to delete it. Yeah, it's gone. Yeah, you can see it. It's gone. So which means our application is working and it's working correctly with Firestore. So we are back again here. So this is basically like what this application does. You can just log in by pressing this button. I'm sure I've talked about it here on it will take you back to the login page. Then if you want to log in again, so we can just log in again using our account that we created. So it's taking some time. Let's put something in to get on to start. This thing is using a lot of storage, so it might be grabbing, but let's be patient with it. But yeah, this is basically like everything that I wanted to show you on my application, and I'm sure you've understood it. So I'm just going to demonstrate like logging in again into the application at gmail.com. It's still not reloading. Yeah, but yeah, basically this is everything that we wanted for this application. Thank you so much for listening to me, and I hope you enjoyed everything that I've been doing here. Thank you.